Every time I think about this, I think about Janine, right? All right, so let's get started in another episode of the podcast on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be building upon the idea that it will suck. It will suck so much until you don't. It'll suck until you don't. Now, I'm going to kind of open with the truth. There is no way around this, right? Most things absolutely suck when you're new. And I'm going to recall an experience that I had this morning. I went for inside of our Facebook group, I popped a photo up. I went for a training session with one of my business coaches. This young gentleman is only 30 years old, and he runs a $32 million business with 100 employees. $32 million, that's a pretty successful bloody business. And he plays big. But he's also got 4 kids. He's taken a lot of time off exercise. And so today he asked me to take him to the gym to basically help him rip the scab off again. We went through a pretty simple session. And I've become pretty good now over the last couple of weeks, particularly at reading the minds of clients that I'm doing a workout with. And here is what his mind was cogging with as we're doing this kind of 5 exercise workout. It's like, he's 30 and he's like, why the fuck is this 42-year-old guy so much fitter than me? He's doing a leg press and he's like, why is my belly in the way? And he's sitting there and he lifts his cap up and he's like, why am I sweating so much? And I could see it written all over his face. He's saying, this fucking sucks. I hate this so much. I hate this. And I said to him, you hate this, don't you? And he said, yep, I hate it. I hate lifting, but I know I need to do it. And in that moment, I kind of had this epiphany. I love the gym. I absolutely love the gym because I'm good at it. But I fucking hate basketball. To all of you that love basketball, amazing. I hate basketball. Why? Because I'm about 2'1" and wide as I am tall, and I'm shit at it. I'm terrible at basketball. And so the point is, no one in the world likes something that they are shit at, especially if it embarrasses them and makes them feel awkward. So at the start of your journey, why at the beginning of your transformation does it feel so hard? You're not good at it yet, right? So naturally it feels awkward. How many of you go into the gym and it's embarrassing for you? Even frustrating maybe. You see, what we're craving here is to be competent. And when we're not good, we don't feel competent, do we? We feel vulnerable. When we're really crap at something, we feel vulnerable. When we're wearing gym clothes and we don't feel like a gym person, we feel pretty vulnerable. And the early stages of a transformation journey, let's face it, it feels like there's little to no payoff, right? You go to the gym and you feel sore for the next couple of days. You are doing meal prep, and it's not as if you're being rewarded with like this amazing taste. All of a sudden, it's boring and it feels time consuming. And then someone might suggest to you that, well, we've got to wake up early. And then waking up early at the start just feels tired and actually tiring and not really productive yet. This is the resistance period. The inner resistance in you that's saying, just quit. Why are you trying to do this? And this is why so many people quit at this stage, because the resistance is there. We look at the people that are ahead of us, right? And we think to ourselves, why is it so easy for them? But what you don't realize is you're comparing your day 2, maybe 1, to their year 5. In my case, I've been training since I was 10 years old. So if you've just started in the gym, you're comparing your year 1 to my year 32. But the suck phase, like the phase where you're just really crap, is temporary. It's going to pass. And everything in our life has a learning curve. And just because it feels hard now, whatever you're trying to change, just because it feels hard now, doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. Think about the most common skills that you now do automatically. I can remember having driving lessons and I was like so nervous about starting to drive. So nervous, and I was bad. And it took me like 10 or 12 lessons paid by my dad to actually get decent at driving a car. Now it's become second nature, of course. What about, I remember my first podcast episode, we're up to close to 400 podcast episodes, but with my first one, I was like stuttering and I needed this full script written and I was panicking and my heart was popping out of my chest. And now I can just come and talk. You're in the same process right now with whatever you're doing with your fitness journey. You suck. And you know you suck. You're early in the process. It's not something personal about you. You just suck because you're new at something. So the reminder is feeling uncomfortable is the price of admission to becoming better. I'm going to say that again. Feeling uncomfortable is the price of admission to becoming better. If you set the expectations right at the start that you will suck, when you do indeed suck and hate it, it won't be a surprise. Does that make sense? So if you suck at tracking your nutrition, if you suck at getting 10,000 steps, if you suck at cooking, well, you're expecting that at the start, right? But so many people, they know that consciously, but then they start their journey and they suck and they're surprised that they suck so much and then they quit. So a good question is, well, what are some things that we can think about to push through the suck? So when you suck at the start, what can you do? Well, the most obvious thing to me is lower the bar of expectation. What if you focused on showing up? What if you focused on showing up instead of doing the perfect gym workout? What if you focused on, let's say you were training at home with some resistance bands. What about rather than, oh, that workout was a 5 out of 10, what about you said, I did a workout and I said I was going to do a workout and I did a workout. Just make it to the gym. Just prep one meal. Just start tracking one meal in MyFitnessPal. Just walk for 15 minutes rather than trying to hit 10,000 steps. Lower the bar of expectation. Remember the phrase, shoot for the stars and if you miss, you'll shoot for the moon and if you miss, you'll land in the stars, or something to that effect. I think that's great when you've built enough self-belief, but when you don't have much self-belief because you failed for the last 10 times, I don't think you should shoot for the stars. I think you should shoot for something that's actually realistic for you. Set the bar lower, not crazily high. We've got all of our life to build the bar higher and higher and higher. We don't go into, not that I can high jump, but they don't start with the bar the highest in high jump. They start with the bar the lowest and incrementally put it up. So the first strategy is just to lower the bar a little bit. So the next strategy is, what if we stacked reps, not results? So the more reps you actually do, the smoother it's going to feel. Right now, it feels hard because you just haven't done many reps. I want you to imagine you running this podcast. You would feel stupid, probably, because you haven't done the reps. But once I've done 400 episode reps, it becomes second nature. Something that I really struggled with, is short form content, doing reels. Absolutely struggled with it. Didn't come naturally. I could write and write and write till the cows come home. But then when I realized that people don't have the fucking concentration span to actually read things anymore, I resisted going over and starting creating short form content because I sucked at it so much at the start. I wasn't confident. So what I had to do was just train myself to just do the reps and be willing to be shit. The gym isn't about doing PRs at the start. You shouldn't be worried about lifting heavy at the start. You should be worried about going to the gym 100 times. Imagine if that was your goal. Do you guys that are new to the gym know how many times you've been to the gym? I want you to look in your phone after this podcast. And if you have a kind of like a barcode scanner, most gyms now tell you how many workouts you've done. Celebrate your first 20 workouts. Celebrate your first 50 workouts, your first 100 workouts. You can worry about the quality of the workouts once you start clocking up the reps. Third strategy. So we've said lower the bar. We've said stack the reps, not the results. Use support. And the great thing about getting support, and we talked about in the previous podcast episode, having a community around you, is you can borrow belief off other people. I remember when I couldn't drive and I was petrified about driving, I remember there was a guy that had an intellectual disability that lived across the road from our house. Now, this might sound rude or unfair, but he factually had an intellectual disability. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I don't need to be a wizard to be able to drive, because the gentleman across the road, who was my friend, he was able to drive. I borrowed belief off him and eventually got my license. Now, you might be 20 kilos overweight. There's a guy in our academy, he might be watching live still, and his name's Chris Lupton. So far, he's lost around 67 kilograms in around 15 or 16 months. 67 kilograms. He's approaching 70 kilograms of weight loss. He's gone from 180 kilos down to 110 kilos. Now, you've got to lose 20 kilos. Can you not borrow belief off him? Can you borrow belief off Xanthi and Janine, who were lost in terms of their menopause journey, but now you borrow belief by looking at what they've done? This is the killer part. You don't need more motivation. You need less isolation. You don't need more motivation. You need less isolation. And the fourth thing that I want to go through is I think that we need to learn to track our progress a little bit differently. What do I mean by that? So many of you guys are tracking your progress in this program or your own fitness journey. You're tracking it on the scales exclusively. I had a very vulnerable chat with one of our clients last night, very late last night, and he was just saying, like, I've got this goal of getting another 2 kilos off. And I get it, but he's missed all of the other things. Like, he's getting stronger. He was eating 1,400 calories. Now he's eating 2,300 calories, and he hasn't put on any weight. And he's not at his weight loss goal yet, but he's missing the fact that he's done 1,000 calories more and he hasn't put on weight. You've got to start to track differently. What about, I went to the gym 8 times this month or 4 times this month? Have any of you acknowledged that you've started tracking, that you've maybe invested in yourself for the first time ever, that you're actually paying attention to what you're eating, that you're prepping meals in advance, that you're actually feeling maybe a little bit more energetic, maybe a little bit more strong, that you're hitting your protein target, that you're becoming more mobile, that you're doing squats, even goblet squats, when you haven't been able to do anything? Your best hope was to be able to get off the lounge. You have to track differently. This is how progress starts to sneak up on you. So I'm going to go over those 4 key strategies. Lower the bar, stack the reps, not the results. Focus on the reps, not the results. Use the community to borrow belief. And then finally, look at how you're tracking your success and start tracking a bit differently, for God's sake. Now, there's a turning point here, guys and girls. There's a turning point when it all starts to click. And one day, it's going to feel effortless. You start to enjoy it. When I was working out with my coach this morning, he was fucking hating it. He was hating it. I was loving it. So what's the difference between us? I have stacked the reps over time. One day, it's going to feel less effortless for you. You're going to start to enjoy it. You're no longer going to think, I'm betting that Nikki Connolly, who's watching this, doesn't think to herself, I need to go to the gym. It's like, holy shit, I'm going to the gym. This is what I do. Confidence builds as your competence grows. If you're competent, you start to like things because you're good at them. But if you're not competent, you feel like an idiot. What happens is eventually your identity starts to change. I'm the type of person who wants to work out. I'm the type of person who loves eating well. I'm the type of person who gets up early. There's so many transformation stories that I can tell you of people like Terry Holden, who walked into the gym at 49 years of age for the first time and just signed up to a membership. And now he's the most consistent guy in our academy. I want to talk specifically about resistance training, because one argument might be against what I've said here is that, well, Jace, even if I don't like the gym, like, I'm just not going to do it. Like, it's just not a thing for me. I just don't like it. Well, here's the thing. You can not like something, but learn to become good at it. And I think something like resistance training is absolutely critical, because running, aerobic cardio training does not develop your strength. And when you get over 40 or 50, the thing that you're going to crave is, why am I so weak? Why am I so weak? Why am I so immobile? Oh, why am I so soft? You want to be strong. You're not going to care about your weight when you're 65 years old. You're going to care about your mobility. Can you get around? Can you pick yourself up off the lounge? Strength training improves your strength, your mobility, your aesthetics. It's anti-disease. In other words, it's protective against cancer. It's protective against heart disease. It improves your cholesterol levels. It's the best treatment possible for mental health. I am all in on resistance training, but I understand that at the start, you hate it because you walk in a gym and it's intimidating and you feel like a numpty and you're not very good at it. And I totally get it. But I guarantee you, after 50 workouts, that will change. Maybe a closing message might be that if you suck at something in your life right now, that's not a red flag. It's just the beginning. That's all. You're just not quite competent at it yet, and that's okay. But you don't become confident and then start. Everyone's waiting for motivation because they think, if I can just get confident at this, then I'll start. No one got confident by mentally preparing. Everyone got confident by putting in the reps, by writing 100 posts, by doing 100 lives, by turning up to their work 100 days, by being a parent, not reading another book about parenting. Keep going, because one day, the thing that you are struggling at, that you suck at, one day in the next 3 to 12 months, you're going to be good at it. And that's when you're going to start to like it. This has been the Better Body Academy podcast, coming to you for a weekend episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and a few little flicks went off in your mind. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. You can go to any of the podcast players and search Better Body Academy podcast, and you'll find 400 episodes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, team. Good morning, Hamo. How are you, buddy? Team, podcast finished. We've got some crew in here. Adam Overton, Levi, hello, legend. JC Boy, Chris, Grant, Craig, everyone's in here. How good's this? Nikki Taff. Yeah, that blows my mind. Looks like it comes naturally. Yeah, exactly. Tracking is so vital. It keeps me disciplined. Guys, I hope this podcast has been helpful. If you've got any questions, more than happy to answer them. Bang them through to the success team. But other than that, peace out. Love yous. Have a lovely start to the weekend.